Joining me now for a closer look at the state-owned enterprise reforms is Sara Hsu. She's an associate professor of economics at the State University of New York at New Paltz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rachelle.
So, Sara, talk about the key progress that we've seen in China's SOE reforms over the years as China has continued to open up.
Right. So something that has been really beneficial is that China has shut down over 1,200 zombie firms, which were simply creating a drag on the economy. However, there are some indications that there's a bit of a lack of progress. We know that state-owned enterprises do not face a hard budget constraint. They're able to borrow unlimitedly from state-owned banks, and they are able to use these funds in order to carry out government policy as they see fit. They also do not have any changes in internal measures. So there are very few changes within the companies themselves to ensure an increase in efficiency. And state-owned enterprises can be problematic because they generally have a lower rate of profit. And we may see this in China in the long run.
So are there any particular aspects or sectors of SOEs that you think needs to see more progress?
Certainly, one of the biggest issues right now is the ongoing debt problem. China's buildup of infrastructure after the crisis and after the fiscal policy attempted to combat the crisis, this resulted in a buildup of infrastructure which state-owned enterprises carried out and a huge amount of debt. And another factor is that there's a lot of inefficiency within state-owned enterprises. And now these state-owned enterprises are getting private funds in order to try to boost their efficiency, which doesn't quite make sense. At the same time, we also see an increase in the hand of the state within state-owned enterprises themselves as the central government attempts to strengthen the party committees within state-owned enterprises.
Now, Sara, we saw that consolidating and merging some of these SOEs is also a way to reform them, rein in some of that corporate debt, and make them more competitive. So what achievements have we seen on those fronts?
We've seen some changes in the debt, some improvements in terms of trying to rein in the debt, but there's a lot that is still outstanding. We have seen the reduction in the capacity of a lot of state-owned enterprises, which has helped to reduce the amount of commodities that are produced each year. We have seen different attempts by the government to address these inefficiencies through, say, mixed ownership. And we see a diversification in the ownership of these firms, as was mentioned previously, and there's an injection of private capital into the sector. And in some ways, it's been really helpful. The case of China Unicom was mentioned, but at the same time, we have to wonder why private funds are being used, especially coming from really profitable, really efficient companies like Alibaba and Tencent, and going into a state firm like China Unicom that is relatively weak.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Sara Hsu from State University of New York at New Paltz.